A rather curious event occurs in the temperate areas of the planet. There is an abundance of small flowering plants late in the winter and early in spring. So why do these plants suddenly appear at this time of year? Well, at first glance, it makes more sense for these plants to grow later in the year when the temperature is warmer and risk of a late frost isn't present. Later in the year, there'd also be more pollinators around, and the days would be longer, making it apparently easier to photosynthesize. However, many of these plants have evolved to grow on the forest floor of the deciduous woodlands. This means that during the long summer days, the forest canopy blocks out virtually all of the sunlight from reaching the floor where these plants grow. So in order to combat this, these plants have developed a different strategy to deal with the challenging conditions. And the gap between the end of the frozen winter and before the deciduous tree canopy reaches out and blocks out most of the light, these plants can make the best use of the available water, light and temperature, grow rapidly and flower in a hurry. This need for rapid growth often means these plants are relatively short, so they don't need to be tall in order to outcompete all the other plants for the available light. They just need to be quick. This does still leave how do these flowering plants deal with the issue of pollination? Well, since the plants flower generally at the end of their growth spurt, flowering also occurs after the last snows and frost. This time of the year, bees and other insect pollinators that have been overwintering or hibernating are actually rather desperate for food, and the rewards offered by these spring flowering plants are essential for their survival. Without the early food supply these flowers supply, many of these pollinators would struggle to survive. With comparatively few flowers that are available to the insects to pollinate this time of year compared to the multitudes in the summer, the flowers actually have their virtual pick of the insects to pollinate them, and as a result have to invest less energy in attracting them as do the flowering plants later in the year. This can result in some of the wild plants having relatively small flowers, minimal scent, and only offering a limited supply of nectar for visitors. Instead, they rely upon colours that contrast significantly with their surroundings, especially those colours which reach out into the ultraviolet spectrum to attract these pollinators. All this means that not only do these plants brighten up a walk through the woodlands in the early part of the year, they're essential to the survival of the deciduous woodland ecosystem as a whole.